Hey everybody, what's going on? This is Joe from VMT2. Thought I'd actually be coming at you. I had a lot of stuff going on through my mind that I wanted to talk about with you guys, because I think y'all are some pretty cool cats. Can't believe I said cats. Boy, I sound like my grandparents. But I wanted to do a talk with y'all because that's the early morning show. That's what we're supposed to do. And one of the things that I was watching, I was watching one of my friend's shows, and in watching it, I was seeing how it was a show talking about why do black people disrespect the police, and I could easily take my shot at that on so many levels of why it is that it is, but I wanted to go on to something that I was seeing. And I was watching the chat. And as I watched the chat, I somewhat saw collective thinking. Now, if you don't know what collective thinking is, that's when everybody is becoming that of an echo chamber in which nobody is thinking outside of the box on how to resolve the issue, on how to change the concept of what we're doing, or pretty much it's an agreement. It's like a sheep thought process. Sheep just go wherever the sheep in front of them goes. They don't question what the destination is, what's it leading them into, what's it going to get them into. And I would almost want to say, and what's going on, Gab? Gab, let me know if you ever want on, brother. I'll be trying to get you to like that way we can have some talk. But I would almost want to say that collective thinking has done more harm to our children than good as of late. Now, you would say, Joe, what do you mean by that? I said I came up with that because I'm saying that nobody is challenging the logic of why is that it is, like about religion, about the government, about systems set up in place for education, about sexuality, about the housing. We're not having enough people ask why, which is going along with it is what it is. Police, bad. White man, bad. Black man, oppressed. Let's see, religion. If you ain't with a certain type of church, you're out of the loop. Okay, Gab, just let me know, brother. You already know that. And when I hear those talking points, I'm not saying everybody, you got to, and sometimes you got to get the people who feel, we can definitely do that, religion talk. But when you don't ask the questions why it is that it is, see, it's so interesting because the people that we follow in these religions didn't have collective thinking. The people that we look up to in leadership don't have collective thinking. He said, Joe, how do you say that? Jesus was a carpenter. Now, if you follow by the diagram of what a carpenter is, that's the lowest class in the Bible. Why would he go against what he's supposed to be doing? Why would he go against the church and his religion? Why did he go against the system of paying tithes? The same country that you live in as of today, of America, it wasn't a collective thinking at one point, because if that was the case, then it would have gone with the European set of England, the Queen. And y'all can debate me if you want, saying, well, no, that it is like that. But if that's the case, then we'll still be with them. The black people that have made their stamp and mark in time in this country, went against what was told to them. From Dr. King to Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey, Farrakhan. I can name different black women. Sigourney Truth. You know, Harriet Tubman. You know, you don't have to just agree with whatever people tell you to do and go by what they set for you. Because honestly, in us teaching our children that it is what it is and that you can't go against that, we're telling them that no matter what that you're told, that's as good as it gets. And why would you put your child in a limited box? What's going on, Wade? Good morning. I never want to tell my child that that's the total limitations of their goals. If that's the case, then I never would have left the Democratic Party. I'm just being so for real. If that's the case, then my father and them, they never would have marched to Montgomery. You see, you got to understand that by you telling your children that they're no good but what is put in front of them, that we don't have resources, that we're limited, or that you as a black person, you already got 2 strikes against you, what you're doing is you're going by a collective victimization mindset that sets them up for failure. How do I know this? Because nobody else tells their children that better than we do. Why would you tell your children that they're poor, that they can never overcome? Because we got, in Black History Month, we got stories on stories of men and women who came from nothing and built something. I even brought up a post of a black man who got awarded by the president a medal. From humble beginnings to becoming an NFL player for the Minnesota Vikings to becoming a judge throughout his whole career. You can't tell me that because I'm born with a certain type of pigmentation or because I was born in a certain type of social class that's as good as it gets. Because if that's the case, then why even get up out of bed? I never would tell my daughters that the only way you can get somewhere in life is that under a man. I never will tell my sons that the only time that men truly see your value is with riches and that of how many women that you bet. I never tell my children that you got to run to a religion just to find some type of self-value and validation in who you are as a person. Those are damaging thoughts and ideas. You see, we got to get away from that kind of stuff because honestly, that's what's setting us back. This is my culture. This is what we do. No, I'm not going to say something like that because when you say this is what we do, that means that I've already got it set up for me that this is my behavior. I'm expected to act like this. This is expected how society is going to see me. And when you take that on, when you start grabbing for those type of talking points, you set yourself up for failure. Yo, what's going on, Marquise? Thanks for the subscribe, brother. I'm just talking to people about, listen, man, we really need to get away from collective thinking. That the only way that you can be successful is by having people have your back. There's going to be plenty of times where you want to do things and everybody's going to agree with you. Does that mean you hold yourself back? Because I can tell you plenty of times where I wanted to do things and I thought that, hey, this would be the betterment for me. But because everybody wasn't on board, I didn't go do it. And then at the end of the night, when I come up with losses, setbacks, I have nobody else to blame but myself. Times where I watch my friend get caught by the police. And I'd be like, man, the system out to get me. But I forgot that we were playing a game. That we knew what we were getting into when we was out there selling little dime bags. We didn't think about what we were giving out to the community. We didn't think about how we were treating people. We just thought that we wanted to get rich. And we told people that, listen, you can get rich too if you follow what we're doing. Was it right? No. It was damaging. And that's a problem that we have, because when you're telling a young boy that, listen, you can't get out of the hood, that this is as good as it gets, that's that collective thinking talking again. That you got to go back and absolve somebody for the foolishness that they do, and you can't judge them. That you got to compromise your values as who you are as a man or a woman because they're black. That if they're not with your race, then they're a sellout. You see, why is it that we jump towards collective thinking, but we don't push progression? What's going on, Underrated Darkness? Good morning. You see, if you know that somebody can be successful, don't try to put them in the collective, because we don't know how much they're going to shine to show the path that, listen, you can make it if you just but take your own path. You can be successful, but it's all up to you and how bad that you want it. I've had many days where I laid on that mattress on the floor, slept, ate, got up, went to work, worked 2 shifts, come back. I wanted to go out and hang with my friends. I wanted to invite that girl over for the night and stay up late at night. I wanted to go for those long, nice drives and have a nice, good smoke. But I understood if I went back into the sheep, back to being a collective, I'll be no better off. But back into a weakened mind state condition, because when you go into that kind of collective thinking, that means you're dependent of supportive people that have to push you to what you need to do. You shouldn't be like that, because you need to start learning how to push yourself into the proper places and movements that you need to be in as an individual. See, that's why individuals aren't afraid to go out and by themselves. And if they fail, they fail. But see, the only person that they got to be accountable for is themselves. See, I don't need a woman to have to pat me on the back and make me feel good to make me boost up my manhood. No, I can do that myself. I pat myself on the chest and say, you can do it, brother. I tell my kids in school that, listen, why did you misbehave the way you did? Well, everybody else, so you let everybody else think for you. That's why you're about to get this whooping. But the only one who's about to take this whooping is you. You got to understand that you are accountable for yourself and yourself only. Nobody's looking to push you up but you. Why do y'all keep on trying to grab for people to build you up? Now, I'm not saying that it's not bad to have a good network of people who support you. Don't ever misconstrue that. But when you have people saying that, listen, we need to do this together. I said, hold up, brother. I need to know right now, how is what you're thinking and your thought process helping me, better me, and influencing me? See, when I got that kind of mindset right there, you can't tell me nothing. I could have easily chose that woman on the street, and I got to go back to what Gab Talk Media said. He said, "What kind of women are y'all shopping for? Because if you're going by the collective mindset of what they tell you is a good woman, that might not be the good woman that's meant for you. What kind of people are you having in your circle that's influencing you? Because if they're not saying something that is building up you, you need to get away from them. Separate. Sometimes a man got to be off by himself to find himself. You can't always carry people with you. That's the point of manhood. Sometimes the boy has to leave the village and go out there and forge his own to find out, this is where I stand as a man. Today, I will put my stamp in the ground. It's not easy. But I made my own mark. And I tell a lot of you brothers, you can too. When I started doing Black Male Talk, I could have easily done what other people were doing. Videos about, foolishness and all kinds of stuff. And not to say that sometimes I don't like to throw in my 2 cents on that stuff, but I like to talk about the things that I like. I like to go on the tangents of talking about things that mean something to me and my people and my family and stuff like that. I like talking about those type of things. Why? Because I don't want to be just mixed in with just any old body. I'm not going to let anybody take my spirit on who I am as a man. I don't go with the collective mindset. I don't sit with you Pharisees. I'm my own man. And I'll die being my own type of man. I've done shows where it was just one viewer or no viewers, to shows where there was 100 viewers. I do this because I love who I am as me. And I don't need nobody's recognition but just for me. This is Joe from BMT. Brothers, collective whole, as you want to be called sometimes, get away from it. Be your own individual. Make your own stamp in the sand. Be a good man to yourself first. And treat the people around you kindly. You can be very successful if you so want it. Let me see what the brothers. True. Plus, our schools teach and make people do group projects and work all the time, which reinforces the collective mind. Yeah, it does. It does. I had to go to the school and talk to the teacher about that. My son I was watching my son come home, and he did majority of the paper by himself. He actually did all the paper. I made him study, cite the resources and everything. Look it up online, and actually then after that I made him go to the library, look at the books and everything. Now, honestly, when he went back to the school, he came back frustrated. I said, what happened, son? We got a C. So why'd you get a C? Well, the other group members, they didn't do anything. I said, hold up. No, not in my house. I went right to that school. I said, what's going on? Well, the group, Mr. Johnson. I said, I didn't ask. Listen, what did my son do? Why is he getting a C? Well, the group, they did not do that. I said, well, I'm not in charge of that household. I don't know what goes on over there. I know what my son did in this household. I said, I'll tell you what, let my son do all the work by himself and let him get his own grade. And if I got to take it above you to the principal, I'll do that because my son was given 120% effort. This is why I don't agree with socialism. I don't agree with socialism. Socialism could never work in the Black community because we're not all the same. Some people think that we look the same, little racist bastards, but we're not the same. That's why I don't stay. That's why when y'all talk about that socialism shit, it's foreign to me. It just is. When y'all tell me that this is as good as it gets, that this woman, you should accept her, regardless of the foolishness. That's that foolish collective thinking that tries to get pushed on men. When y'all try to talking points that a Black man has to marry a Black woman because that means he's not loyal to his race, then I'm like, that's that collective thinking talking again. When y'all tell me that, listen, that we don't have no resources or that we can't do anything or that we need people to help us, it's like collective thinking. Shout out to BK, shout out to Marquise. I'm a lone wolf. A lot of people are scared to be alone. Listen, I'm trying to tell y'all, a lot of us, we could talk stories on. Listen, going out there, forging yourself and doing things on your own, getting up early I've had times where people say, listen, man, I'm not going to work. Oh, you're not going to work? Okay. I'll go right to work. Supervisor sees me. Hey, where's your boy? Y'all use your office together? Nah. He didn't want to work. I want to make my check. I got stuff. I got responsibilities. I got to take care of. You see, I'm not going to go off of the next man. I'm going to go by what I need to do. That collective mind stuff that they try to push on our children, y'all got to be very wary. That collective mind stuff that people try to push onto you, you got to be very mindful of that stuff. But that stuff is very damaging and very poisonous to you. Y'all gotta learn that sometimes it's not bad to be by yourself, because the right people will see you eventually. But if you want to hang with everybody, nobody can see you in the crowd of people, because you're no more than just a number. But see, when you stand out as that individual star, and y'all seen it at work, at school, oh, that man, he's by himself. Okay. What else about him? I don't know, but I know his work is done. His work is good. But he don't look for other people to help him do it. He gets it done. We used to have a guy like that when I was welding. Man, never. The only time he talked was about work. That's if he had to talk with you. Other than that, he was working. He was always staying busy. I respected him for that. I remember one time I said, man, I got a job to do and I'm waiting for this guy to get here. He said, well, why don't you just learn? He said, excuse me. He said, why don't you just learn how to do it for yourself? I said, what do you mean? I said, I don't know how to properly cut this type of pipe. He pulled out the book, put it in front of me. Learn it for yourself. I said, seriously? Yeah, learn it for yourself. I said, he said, look, there you go. Grab those right there. Now change out that top. Lower down your gas. Put just enough in there. As he instructed me, taught me, I listened. Now I could have sat right there and waited for another guy to come that wasn't going to be there for 45 minutes, but he just taught me. And as I learned how to properly cut and do a proper a T weld, I learned how to cut the pipe. It wasn't clean at first, but as I started doing it, learn how to do it properly by myself, I got better at it. I stuck to it. Then after a while, that the man just said, hey, who did this? I did, sir. It's not bad. Could be better, but it's not bad. Johnson, come over here and do this. Now, where he wanted me to go, he wanted me on a crew that you got paid $20 an hour. I said, you sure? You don't think you can do it? Do you think you need to be with these guys? No, I'll go out there. Now he put me out there with those guys. They all work their own. They all cut their own pipes and cut their own metal by themselves. He said, take your time and study up and practice and read this book. Now the book was like a little bit thick, but I studied up the best way I can and I got good at it. And I shut up and I listened and I did what I need to do. And I got put on there permanently. But if I had waited and kept that collective mindset that I can't do the job unless I have people do it for me or help me do it, I would have never made the extra checks. I would have never got put on that team. Sometimes you got to learn how to do things for yourself by yourself. Of course, I had a little bit of help from the brother. Shout out to you, Mr. Pinkney. But he showed me that sometimes you got to go study for yourself and show yourself that type of approval. Again, guys, if you're in the chat, please like the video, support the video. For those of y'all who are watching the video, hey, always come on over to the channel, support the channel, support the movement. All right, guys, this is Joe from BMT2. We thank you for coming and joining us. Also, you can check us out on Negro Shade Radio. You can also hear us talk about every other day topics, trends, and different stuff that means something that what a black man wants his 2 cents in. Peace.